Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Score a 2 for $5 deal on a sausage McMuffin with egg and more. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Shit That Goes Under Our Heads, the podcast where we normalize conversations around mental health.
That's right. I'm Dirty Skittles, and alongside my amazing co-host, G-Rex, we are here to share stories and tips from our incredible guests.
Each episode, we deep dive into struggles and triumphs of mental health, offering practical advice and heartfelt support.
Because no one should feel alone in their journey. Join us as we break the stigma and build a community of understanding and compassion.
Tune in and let's start talking about the shit that goes on in our heads. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Shit That Goes On Our Heads. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dirty Skittles, and today we have an awesome guest, Stefani. Welcome, Stefani. So happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here and to hopefully spread the word a little bit.
I love this.
I'm so excited to meet you and hear your story.
Okay.
Where would you like to start?
Well, I know we're all dog lovers. So many years ago, and I grew up with a lot of animals, not just dogs. And many years ago, when I had my own daughter, when she was about age 5, she, out of the blue, announced she was afraid of dogs and she wasn't going over to Jennifer's house for a play date. And I was flabbergasted and stressed because I didn't know whether to tell Jennifer's mother why she didn't want to come over. I mean, it was very stressful. I didn't know anything about it. There were no resources. And so, in fact, over the years, my methods, getting some information and being able, thankfully, to help many people of all ages, I wrote 2 books that I wish I had way back then.
A question. Was there like a root cause for that? Like that, where that fear came from for her?
That is a really good question. So what I have found is that there's basically 4 ways that this particular fear can develop. It's a phobia. It's listed in the DSM, I think it's 5. It's a real thing. And there's 4 ways it develops. One is, to your point, Dirty Skittles, something bad happens to you. You see something bad happen to someone else, or you hear about something. Or lots of times, if a parent figure is afraid of dogs, they give very subtle cues, kid picks up on them and becomes afraid. The 4th way is what was with my daughter and actually seems to be the most common. It's just a temperament thing. These people seem to be cautious, creative, bright. They don't understand dogs. And we're afraid of things we don't understand.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the most common thing. And that's how it was with her.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember, and I think we've chatted about this on other episodes, but I have phobias.
Okay.
And before my son was even born, I remember saying to myself, like, if I ever have a child, I want to be really careful to not influence their fear in things. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, I'm afraid of whales. There's no reason for it other than a National Geographic magazine I saw when I was little freaked me out.
Okay, so you saw something.
Correct. But I don't want him to be afraid of whales because my childhood seeing this magazine. So yeah, it's good that we're on the right path then, because I'm like, I don't want to influence his fears.
That's right. That's right. And I don't like to fly. And part of it is because I don't know how that thing stays up in the air. So, but I do. I manage. I get a little help from my friends, but I do get on the plane.
And I'm afraid of heights.
Okay.
But for two reasons. One, when I was a kid, I fell off a roof by my own doing. Nobody pushed me off. And two, like, if I can't see the horizon, it's me out a little bit. So but I've now kind of overcome two of those. One, my wife and I were in Hawaii and did a doors off helicopter tour.
My God.
I thought I was going to die the entire time.
Good for you.
But did that. It was still super shaky when I got off the plane. And then here in upstate New York, she had me like climb up really high on a ladder to hand her something. And like I had death grip on that ladder. I was like, I am going to die. And my little tiny hands couldn't quite grip around the legs on the ladder, but I did it. I got back down. Fear. I was like, now I need some help from my friends. So then I promptly went back inside and took a gummy and we were good.
Do you think it like helped you for future times you have to be up high? No pun intended.
I think so. I think so, but I think will approach it like very cautiously. And that's how I am with dogs. Yep. I'm very cautious when I approach a new animal because I've had those experiences in my lifetime where I've seen somebody get attacked by a dog. I've seen really poorly treated animals and had felt bad for them, but I was also a little standoffish. But just take a couple of deep breaths and just try and get myself calm, because if you're calm around the animal, it also calms the animal.
Yes, they very much read your body language, your tension level. And I'm also cautious around dogs. And that's why when I work with people, I try to teach them or help them learn to read dog. So when they see a dog, they know, okay, this dog's tail is up and it's wagging and the ears are alert. And this is a safe dog to interact with. Of course, you always ask the person, as opposed to a dog that's hunched over with the whale eye and the tail in between its legs. That's a dog you want to stay away from. Also, for a lot of the kids I work with, some of the dogs are safe to be with. They're not going to get bit, but these can be very jumpy dogs, and that can feel unpredictable and scary. So also, just as a PSA announcement, most dog bites can be prevented. And you just have to know the warning signs, respect the dog. The majority of dog bites actually happens with boys between ages 5 and 9. Anybody want to guess why?
If I had a guess, it's because if I'm using my son, so my son is 7, and we are constantly having to teach him to read the signs. So he'll want to like hug them or get right in their face. And the dogs are not always wanting that attention. And so if they're growling or snipping, I'm like, dude, get away from the dog. You're gonna get bit.
Yeah.
So for him,
I
don't think he quite gets it yet, like how to read those signs. So we're very vigilant on.
Good for you. Good for you. You're preventing something for sure.
Yeah. So why is it that they
exactly that in general? And this is a stereotype, and I hope you don't get hate mail for it. But in general, boys tend to play rougher and get a little wild and aren't necessarily taking the time to check in. Is this dog okay with this? And so the dog often feels like they have no choice. They've tried all the other stress signals, and so it ends up with a bite.
Yeah. Do you primarily work with children being more comfortable with dogs, or is it adults as well?
It's mostly children, but I have worked with a number of adults. It's fascinating because the adults in general, the common theme is that they feel the dog is over interested in them. Is the dog noticing me? Is the dog this? And most dogs And I try to help people be boring around dogs. If you're boring, most dogs are going to find someone else to interact with. But the adults that come to me, many feel desperate and are really motivated. So I'm in New York. I'm 3 hours from Philly, and I'm currently working with a woman who is driving from Philadelphia to face her fear. She's turning 50, and this is on her bucket list.
Good for her.
Yeah. And almost every adult says to me, I wish my parents had taken this seriously years ago and helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would, right? If we had one incident where we were on a family vacation in California and we had pulled over somewhere and we were eating lunch, and it was a very dog friendly outdoor environment, and the owner's dog got into it with a visitor's dog, and my son saw it. He was younger at this point, and when he saw it, of course, fear, and then he was really sad because he didn't know if the dog got hurt. And I remember in that moment thinking to myself, like, shit, I couldn't control that happening. And I don't want him to be afraid of that. And I didn't really want him to see two dogs fighting, but he did. And the way we approached it was to just talk through it. And yeah, sometimes we're not going to get along, and let's go make sure everybody's okay. And on our way out, he looked at the little dog, and the dog was totally fine. And he just wanted to pet the dog. And I'm so sorry that happened. He was very gentle and tender or whatever. But I'm like, oh, thank God, like that, nothing crazy happened, but it was
So
scary.
You bring up something really important, which is lots of times there's a protective layer from this fear if you've had a lot of positive experiences leading up to a negative one, which sounds like maybe that was how it was for your son, and also your attitude and helping him.
Yeah.
So like my sister, we grew up with a ton of animals, and my sister, I just want to give her a shout out. She's the one who really encouraged me to do the book and do this work. And she helped me with her dog, helped my daughter, Becky, get over her fear. So where was I going with but when she was a little girl, and this was my mother's fault, for negligent parenting, which, hello, now I'm a social worker. My sister pulled the dog's tail while the dog was eating. And she got bit. And that was totally the human's fault, my mother's fault. But it didn't faze her because she'd had all these other wonderful experiences with animals.
That's good. That's really good.
With McValue at McDonald's, you don't just get deals on the drinks. You get deals on McDonald's drinks. So when you're breaking a sweat, embrace the chill without breaking the bank. And when your crew is running on empty, keep your wallet full while refreshing the squad.
Ace the vibe check with drinks like lemonade, frozen Fanta Blue Raspberry, or any size drink for just $1.49. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
So you had mentioned earlier on, it was your daughter, right, who had a fear of animals. How did you help her work?
Just dogs.
Of dogs?
Yeah. So she was 5, and we had a vacation plan to visit my sister who was in California. And she had a wonderful dog, the same breed as my dog now, named Casey. And he was well behaved, and intuitively, we kind of gave Becky control. We said, ask Casey to sit, because when we're afraid, it feels out of control. So if she has a plan and can feel more in control, And then little by little, she got closer and closer to the dog and more interactions. And after that, we slowly introduced her to other dogs. My mother had a dog, and it definitely went away. Yeah.
I think that's, you like hit it for me, because the things that I'm afraid of are usually because I'm not in control of them. Mm-hmm. Like I relate to you on the fear of flying, although not so much that I don't know why it's in the air. It's just that I can't control it. So if something bad happens when I'm in the air, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But even with that, I think my husband and I both share that fear. Mm-hmm. And my husband's afraid of heights like you, G-Rex. So we still try to make the best effort to not have our son see that fear from us, because we don't want him to then be afraid to fly or
right. Good for you.
Yeah, climb. But it is totally about control for me. I have zero control and it freaks me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say though, like I still have a very rational fear of dogs, and I found it more as I've gotten older, because like for me, when I meet like a very anxious dog, right? Like an ankle humper.
Is that a Chihuahua?
I don't know.
Just call it out by name.
Okay, Chihuahua, ankle humper, half rat, half piranha, whatever you want to call them. Okay, but like they scare me, right? Because number one, I'm very allergic to cats and dogs.
Okay.
So number one, I don't want to get scratched or anything, because that's a whole series of having to take a bunch of Benadryl just to feel better. And Dirty Skittles knows all about Benadryl. But it's also because I sometimes don't know how to control the situation. So a lot of times what I'll do is just remove myself from the situation. If we're at a friend's house or whatever, I will physically like walk out of the room, because I can feel my chest tightening and I'm like trembling, right? And I don't like having that feeling. And I don't know if it's because of my age or because of like a past experience I've had, but I know and to some people, it's very irrational. But for me, I like rationalized. And I'm like, deuces, I'm out, because I like to feel in control of what's going on in my body. And like you guys with flying, that is for me, it's like when I lose control of the situation, that's when I get scared.
Yeah. I have to say though, G-Rex, I mean, I think your fear is based in reality, because you could get physically pretty sick if something happens. And I would just try to suggest to help you have a plan. If you know you're going somewhere and there's an ankle humper, wear high boots or shake your leg to get it off. I mean, part of the problem here is that humans don't always help. You know, the owners, I don't know if we can say owners anymore, that, oh, but my dog is so cute, don't worry, yada. That's just disrespectful. Get your dog off my leg.
Yeah, exactly. We have two dogs that are pretty high energy, I would say. One more so than the other. But it's something that I always try to be mindful of if we're having company over, even if they've been to our house 100 times, right? Like, I don't want our dogs jumping all over them. And I haven't been able to train them properly to not do that.
That's okay.
So we will take measures to make sure that they're not jumping all over.
But that's fantastic. I do the same thing. I have a very sweet dog. She's high energy. She will get very excited if you walk into my house. I have a big note on my door. Do not ring the bell or knock on the door. But what I do now, and I wish I had thought of this before my first book, it's in the second book. If you meet a dog outside their home on a leash, the dog is much less excitable when you go back in the house. Also, for the kids I work with or the people I work with, it gives them a couple of minutes to turn their fight or flight off or down.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just kind of, I don't know, it's worked very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to try that. That's actually a really good idea, because I think that is, as soon as the door's opening and somebody's coming inside, they're like, oh, they're freaking out. They're ready to.
Yeah. And when I can't do that, I hold her with a leash and I have her in a sit giving her treats while the people walk in. Yeah. But you are respectful and considerate. And a lot of people are not, which increases the fear. And the thing is, you're afraid of whales, you're afraid of heights. You can live your life not seeing a whale or climbing a ladder. You cannot live your life. There you go. You can't live your life if you want to leave your home.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Like I can avoid certain fears, but other ones, I think we do need to be more respectful of people and understanding their fear. And because not everybody, I was thinking of, I had a family member who at the time had a pit bull, and I love dogs, but I think what happened was the dogs got out of the house. There was an incident and everybody was running after the dogs to try to get them back. And it was just chaos. And I remember kind of being like the more cautious one to go outside. Like I was kind of scared of what I was going to encounter. But I remember going out, and this reminds me of when you said learning to speak dog, and seeing this dog running towards me as the family is chasing after them. And I think my initial instinct was like, oh shit, let's run, let's take cover. But instead I remember thinking like, okay, if I run, it's not going to help. And I remember like kind of kneeling down and being like, come here, puppy. And like my body inside is freaking out, but I'm like, come here, puppy. And sure enough, we got him. And I'm like, holy shit, thank God that went okay. Because this is giant pit bull just running at me. I'm like,
but instinctively, I guess you really knew what to do. And you also, you also understand dogs. So the other thing and we practice this with the people that we work with, if you never, ever run, because dogs are hardwired to chase things that move. Think tennis balls, squirrels.
Like
so
T-Rex.
Even though it's scary as anything, you need to stand still. I actually advise turning sideways and crossing your arms. And most people say, but then I can't see the dog. I said, you could peek. But in dog language, when dogs turn sideways, they're telling you, keep moving. I'm not interested. So we practice that in case there's a loose dog, or even walking on a sidewalk if you feel uncomfortable and the dog is leashed even. Or just so you know this, if there is an angry and aggressive dog, they call it be a rock. You get down and you cover your head and you pray that the dog moves on, but do not run. You were right.
I'm like, I am not running, but I wanted to. Because everything in your body's get the fuck out of here.
And by the way, it wasn't an out of body experience, but I had an experience a couple of months ago that really helped me understand the people that I work with. I was walking with a friend. We both had our dogs on a leash, and maybe, I don't know, I'm not less than a football field away. There was a loose dog, and it was like a German Shepherd dog, which I don't really have a problem with those dogs, but something triggers me, police dog. And I could feel my body panic. And my friend got nervous, and we thought, okay, what are we going to do with it? And we talked it through and whatever. But I thought, I think the universe just did that so that I can remember that this is how my clients feel. It was the same thing when I had a puppy and I thought I was going to lose my mind. And I said, this is the universe. And because I also work with children, sending me this puppy to have empathy for people whose children might have ADHD.
I know what that's like.
With McValue at McDonald's, you don't just get deals on the drinks. You get deals on McDonald's drinks. So when you're breaking a sweat, embrace the chill without breaking the bank. And when your crew is running on empty, keep your wallet full while refreshing the squad.
Ace the vibe check with drinks like lemonade, frozen Fanta Blue Raspberry, or any size drink for just $1.49. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
I think this is such an interesting conversation too, right? Like I think about the dogs, like the emotional support animals we see, like in the airports or in the store. I think that people also need to remember that they need to ask the owner before they pet the dog, because they, number one, they're very protective of their owners, and the owners are very protective of their dogs. So being mindful and remembering that you need to ask before you do something. Just pretend it's like your mom and you need to ask permission before you do it, because that can stop a lot of really bad encounters.
Yes, you're so right. And a lot of dogs don't like children. And working dogs and emotional support dogs, therapy dogs are different. They're not meant to be pet by someone else.
We were literally just having this conversation when the last time we traveled in the airport, we saw a service animal and then the police dogs. And my he loves dogs. Like he loves dogs. And he was like, oh, it's a puppy. And we were having this conversation with him. Those are working dogs. You can't go up and you can't pet them. They're at work right now. You've got to let them. We're trying to explain it to a 7-year-old. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult, I think, for a kid to understand.
Yeah. And I don't think there's enough information out about the different kinds of service animals, therapy animals. One of the things that I also do is we go to a lot of preschools and kindergartens, kind of with humane education, and we teach kids how to meet and greet a dog. And the first thing is always ask permission. May I please pet your dog?
But I think there's quite a few adults out there that have not got that message yet. So this is a good PSA for everybody. Ask permission.
And the other thing is, and I'm also I'm connected with a lot of dog trainer type people. And some of the things I've learned about is it's all about consent. And even if the owner says, yes, you may pet my dog, the dog may not really want to be pet. So there's the 3-second rule. You pet the dog for 3 seconds, and then you take a look at, does it look like the dog wants to be pet again? Or is it, okay, thank you, and you move on? It's just fascinating.
That is interesting. Well, I love this. I mean, it's definitely giving us something to think about, I think, me specifically as a parent, because I know how much he loves animals and trying to make sure we're guiding him properly to have respect. I think that's where I go with communicating with them, is we have to respect the animals. So they're not always going to be cute and cuddly. And we've even expanded that conversation on other creatures of the world, if we want to call it that, being in Georgia. Because we also love snakes. And we're not every snake is a fun snake. So, I mean, it's just respect that animals are animals first. And then let's figure out which ones are safe to interact with and not. So,
yeah. And you can easily, not translate, but easily apply the same principle to people.
Fair.
Yeah. Can I talk to that person? I don't know. Let me visualize the situation. Do they look okay? Do they look sketchy?
Yeah.
You're but it's funny, but not funny. Animals are a lot easier to read than people
You're
are.
so right. You're so right.
Yeah.
You right away, if a dog or a cat or a bear or a snake is okay to pet, because they're usually growling at you, right? But people internalize that, so you don't really know if it's okay to approach them. But I wish that people were a lot more like animals.
In many ways.
Yeah.
So many ways.
Honestly.
They're a lot simpler. You're right.
Yeah.
And dogs in particular, they're honest. You see what you get, or however that says. You get what
Yeah, because they're not lying. They're not hiding emotions. Right. So that's interesting. I never thought about that, G-Rex. But yeah, it would be nice to know which humans we can approach and not, and who will bite us and who will not.
Have you ever seen a narcissistic dog or a misogynistic dog? No, never.
No.
Scared? Yes.
I've seen a little bit in cats, but never in a dog.
Cats is a whole different subject. You've got a lot of them. I feel like cats are like the assholes of the pet world.
Yeah.
They can be, but they can also be super lovable. But, you approach them the same way as you would a dog, right? You just need to learn how to read the animal, read what's kind of going on in them. If it's a cat, if their tail is like going like a rattlesnake, like they don't want to be approached, okay? Like you've now overstimulated them.
Right. But somebody has to teach you that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Honestly,
Me neither.
I was like,
just learned.
They must really like me.
Maybe have a book in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we talked a lot about dogs, but like cats, you can read cats too. Okay, yes, 99% of the time they can be an asshole, okay? But they can also be really good, like lap animals. But same with dogs, don't pet them until they get overstimulated because that's when they bite. But if you're ever around a cat and you see their tail swishing really fast, just walk away, move your hands because their reflexes and their teeth are sharp as hell.
Good to know.
I had a roommate in upstate New York who had a cat, and this cat would terrorize the shit out of me. Like I would sit down and the cat would just have it out for me. He would be staring at me from rooms away, G-Rex, and he would come and just dart at me and I'd freak out. And he thought it was funny. I'm convinced he did it just to fuck with me. It's like that fucking cat.
Yeah.
All right. So I have some random questions for you.
Sure.
These are the questions I've started asking. Maybe I need to switch these up, G-Rex. We'll figure it out maybe next season. But if you can go back in time to a younger version of yourself and give that younger version of yourself a bit of advice, what would you tell yourself and how old are you when you go back in time?
Well, and maybe this is for a different session with you guys. My growing up and has had some turbulence, but in terms of our conversation today, I think I would maybe 18 or 19, and I would try to give myself some confidence and say, you're going to know this stuff and you need to share it. I mean, sometimes I get asked, what was my regret? Although I've now reframed it to, what have I learned? And basically, I wish I had done the book and really gotten this part of my life going a lot sooner. So, not to quote anybody, but just do it.
I usually follow this up with, what has been the hardest lesson you've had to learn in your life so far?
If we encompass my whole life, I have had to learn resilience. And I hate to say I've gotten pretty good at it because that means I've had to practice it a lot.
Yeah. Work out that muscle.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a hard muscle to work. It really is. So now I have a couple of questions. What is your favorite word?
I'm going to say resilient.
Of that. And what's your least favorite word?
Should have given me a cheat sheet.
Yeah. We love to hit everybody with these off. No prep.
I know. I don't know. Can I take a pass?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you can take a pass.
Part 2. Well,
part 2.
The next time you're on, have an answer.
I mean, there are a lot. Maybe never. Yeah. I don't know. And I don't like that one. I'll have to think about it.
So what do you do for self-love and self-care these days?
I am blessed with a close family now. Mm-hmm. So I love to spend time with them. And my dog is a big part of self-love, self-care. When you have a dog, it's interesting. It opens up, if you walk and things, it opens you up to a whole different kind of community. It's almost like jury duty. You meet people that you would never meet anywhere else. But I have to say, every day around 3:00, It's like my energy dips. I really want to eat some chips and sit in front of the TV. And sometimes I do that. But most of the time I walk the dog, and now that I'm reflecting on it, when I'm done, I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I love that.
Can you to kind of close this up? What's your dog's name and what kind of dog is it?
Yes. My dog is named Winnie. She is my third dog as an adult. It's spelled Keeshond, Keeshond, but in case there are any dog breeders listening, it's pronounced Keeshond. They're Dutch. And it's interesting because my first dog, Muggsy, came with a lot of anxiety. We rescued him. He was a wonderful dog. My second dog, Fozzie, all the same breed, came as a puppy, almost had a nervous breakdown. And he was a wonderful therapy dog. Yeah. And Winnie, we got at 10 months old. And when she was rehomed from the breeder, the first home she went to didn't work out. And I know why, because this little angel is hyper and needs a lot of attention, and she's wonderful. But she also, she came not trusting because nobody had taken care of her needs when she was a baby. So we're working on it. And I'm pleased to say now, if she steps on something outside, like a burr, instead of trying to run around, she'll lift her paw and let me help her.
That's nice.
Yeah, I feel really good about that.
So, Stephanie, where can our listeners find you?
Oh, Instagram, it's Overcome Your Fear of Dogs. It's pretty much the whole thing. OvercomeYourFearOfDogs.com. And then I have the 2 books, which are available online.
I love this. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
Such a great conversation.
I mean, the fear of dogs often flies under the radar, but it's real.
Yeah.
And there's help. Help is available.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm G-Rex.
And I'm Dirty Skittles.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. We'd love to listen to your feedback.
We can't do this without you guys.
It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.